the parables, if you think about it, there was some original little kernel, some little original nugget that Jesus said, and and then there were the gospel writers, kind of the communities, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and others that came along and kind of added more interpretation and layers. And then there's a couple thousands of years of interpretation, right, that have come along that have in some ways kind of changed and maybe softened the parable. The parables would have been remembered generally because they were sort of jarring, because maybe they challenged people or maybe they were upsetting people, but then we've kind of generally made them more acceptable as time has gone on. And so part of what we try to do, when we're studying is try to figure out, maybe what was the original intention and what is the word for us today. We also remember too that the people in Jesus' time were quite different from us. For one thing, they had a lot less than we have. If you sometimes look at like the caloric intake of people in a day, it might have been 400 or 500 calories. I mean, people did not have much. People were small. People didn't live long. Jesus told all these stories about feeding and fishing and healing because that's kind of basically what people were consumed about, right? Jesus didn't tell a lot of stories about people's second vacation homes, because that's not where people lived, right? That's not what was going on with them. So trying to figure out what is in this message for us. That same day, Jesus went out of the house and sat beside the sea. Such great crowds gathered around him that he got into a boat and sat there while the whole crowd stood on the beach. And he told them many things in parables, saying, "Listen, a sower went out to sow. And as he sowed," and this is kind of called like broadcast sowing, like you just be kind of scattering the seed like this, not super intentional, but that's the way it worked. "And as he sowed, some seeds fell on the path, and the birds came and ate them up. Other seeds fell on rocky ground where they did not have much soil, and they sprang up quickly, since they had no depth of soil. But when the sun rose, they were scorched, and since they had no root, they withered away. Other seeds fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them. Other seeds fell on good soil and brought forth grain, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. Let anyone with ears listen."